Hi guys, Bacchus Bruce got the backstory on the 2013 Domaine La Colliere. This is a Grenache Syrah blend coming out of the Rasteau commune, which is in the south of the Rhone region of France. Got this for just $4.99 at Grocery Outlet up in Petaluma. Rasteau's commune I've never actually tried a wine from before. It is a very, very historic area in the south of France. Vineyard sites dating back as far as 30 BC, if you can believe that. This whole area in the southeast of France is just loaded with history, and this certainly is a very interesting wine as well. So the winemaker is named Georges Perrault, and he calls this wine the Esprit de Argiles. Esprit meaning kind of a joyousness or a vivaciousness or a celebration of sorts. Argiles is a reference to the clay of the land. Now the soil is very unique. It has a couple different types of clay. The traditional red clay with a little bit of limestone. There's also something called a blue clay in this particular area, which is kind of more of a blue purplish clay. The winemaker insists that the different clays in the different lots really produce different wines altogether. So he's claiming that the blue clay adds a bit of richness to the wine, with the red traditional clay giving it a bit of freshness. And to talk about the clays right on the label certainly means that there's got to be a lot of really fantastic terroir here. So I'm looking forward to trying that for sure. Now, the 2013 vintage was a little tough, a little bit of cool weather to kind of start the vintage off, which kind of led to some poor fruit set. Grenache in particular is susceptible to this, and most of the producers in Rasteau lost about 30% of their yield for the harvest, some of them as high as 90. So usually what that means when you have this sort of thing is that you have less fruit, but you tend to have better quality wine. So this wine should be pretty good. Now, there are a couple laws that you got to follow if you make wine in Rasteau. So your wine needs to be at least 50% Grenache, needs to be at least 20% Syrah or Mourvedre or both. Now, this particular bottle, I found, I think it's going to be about 80% Grenache, about 20% Syrah. I do love Grenache. It tends to really give you a lot of really pretty red fruit, and then the Syrah, of course, gives a little bit of heft and a little bit of depth of color as well. So the vines themselves are 50-year-old vines, and they are grown organically. So to have an older vine, what they call Vieille Vigne in France, is something that tends to, again, bring a lot of terroir to the finished wine itself. Now, the history of Rasteau of making dry red wine is actually fairly recent. It wasn't. It was 2010 actually when they finally got their AOC together to get classification for dry red wine. For many years before that, it was known actually as a fortified wine, what they call a vin du naturel, and that was kind of their claim to fame until winemakers kind of figured out that not the whole world really likes sweeter wines, big hot alcoholic wines, and so dry wines are now kind of making a little bit of a headway in Rasteau. So a lot of really interesting things here. Super excited about trying it. Hope you are too. See you in the tasting room.